Good afternoon, good evening, everybody. How are you? Chef Marshall O'Brien here, and welcome to our show, Cooking with Confidence. Super excited to have you. Got a great recipe, but before we get into tonight's recipe, make sure that you're following us on Facebook. Make sure you follow us on Instagram and on YouTube. We've got our new YouTube channel, Chef Marshall's Cooking with Confidence. Please subscribe. The more subscribers we get, the more we can provide you great content. You know, we put this show together for 4 reasons. First reason is we want to provide a positive experience for you and yours. Second is that we want to help you improve your skills and maybe give you a little more confidence in the kitchen to make great tasty meals. We want to help you. Third point is we want to help you take more control of your meal planning so that you can have a little stress out of your life. And the fourth reason is to help teach you how to nourish you and yours and not just feed you and yours. So that's why we do what we do. Love the show. Been getting great feedback. Folks are sending in their pictures and making comments and just saying how much they appreciate this and how much they're having fun with their significant others or their kids or grandkids in many cases. So it's really our pleasure to be able to do this Thursday nights, 5:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Well, tonight we've got a great recipe, and it's a fun and flexible recipe. We have a creamy chickpeas with broccoli and goat cheese. And I've had a couple comments, people saying, well, I've never thought about those combinations. How do you know, I'm excited to try it. It sounds kind of weird. And that's one of the things we want to do, is to give you something new to try. So we've got this. It's a great recipe. The ingredients for this recipe, we're using broccoli, chickpeas, goat cheese, some lemon juice, some garlic powder, a little basil, a little olive oil, and some tomatoes. It doesn't get any easier than this. It's a one-pan meal. It's simple. And anyways, I can't wait to show you. First thing we're going to do, and I always tell you folks, the more you are organizing your kitchen, the easier it's going to be, and the more freedom you're going to have when you're cooking. And you might be thinking, well, I don't really equate cooking to freedom, but if you're not set up, if you don't have the right tools, it can get a little stressful, it can get a little intimidating. So make sure that you're organized. Make sure that you feel comfortable. And if you're watching right now and you're saying, what's this guy talking about cooking with him and all that? Well, I want you to sign up right now, chefmarshallobrien.com/show, so that you can receive the recipes and shopping list in advance, and then you can cook with us in real time, or you can cook whenever you want thanks to our YouTube channel, Chef Marshall's Cooking with Confidence. Well, you might have heard those little clicky sounds. I just fired up my skillet here. We're going to get our pan, preheating it up a little bit, getting it warm, and it's getting nice and warm. Questions, comments, thoughts, folks, put us in the chat. Who do we have participating tonight? Who's there? What's going on? I want to know. I want to say Jonna, my right-hand gal, thanks for being here tonight. She's the one that's answering or fielding questions and relaying them, and she noticed that I turned the wrong burner on. So that's why you were looking at me. So I'm going to put the right burner on so that I don't light my arm on fire. Entertaining for you, not so much for me. Although it probably would be a little entertaining for me as well. And you know, you need humor. I was talking with some of my Instagram friends, and humor's a good thing. So when you're stressed out, if you like spill milk on yourself or light your arm on fire, it's a little humor, makes you chill, and that's probably not a bad thing. Anyways, all right, let's get into tonight's recipe. Now again, we want to have you cook with us in real time or on demand, so ask your questions. If you're like some people are saying, well, can I substitute the chickpeas because I'm not a big chickpea fan? Absolutely. Can I use any kind of cheese or just goat cheese? Well, we'll get to that answer shortly. All right, now my pan is getting heated up and it's starting to feel a little warm. I know my pan is hot when you can feel the heat radiate. Now that might sound like an obvious sort of borderline silly comment to make, but what you don't want to do is just throw your food in the pan and then turn it up, because you're not going to then have the accurate cooking time. You won't have the texture or the color that you want, and your recipe might then go astray from what you had originally planned on how you were going to make it. So it's good to, again, make it work for you, make it easy, and this is definitely ready to go. While my pan is sitting there just waiting for me to patiently add the olive oil and the broccoli, we need to chop up the broccoli. And I've started that, and I'm actually going to add the oil now. We have our pan at about medium heat, and I'm flexible. I want to get all the barriers out of the way. At the end of the day, I want you just to have fun and make some great tasting and nourishing meals for you and yours. Now you can see how the fat, go back to 4 if you would please. See how that oil is shimmering there? That's when you know your pan is hot and it's ready. And we'll get, and that's what we want to do. We're going to add our broccoli now. And we got to sizzle. That's what we want. We want to maintain the sizzle, so I'm going to up my heat just a little bit. I'm going to continue to chop up the broccoli. I'm using fresh broccoli. You can certainly use frozen broccoli if you wish. It's going to have a little different cooking time because when it's frozen, cells of the vegetables are going to have expanded and exploded, microscopically speaking, and you're going to have the cooking time will be considerably less. So it's just something to think about. But we're just coarsely chopping up our broccoli here. Questions, comments, thoughts?
Well, James says, hi, my friend.
Well, James, hi, my friend. Appreciate you being here tonight. Make sure, James, if you don't have that shopping list and recipes, sign up so you can get those and you can participate. Appreciate you being here, James. It's awesome. We're just chopping up the broccoli. This is a great way to get your kids or other people involved. Delegate the work out. Smart people won't do all the work unless you're the only one cooking. Then you're just going to be smart and do all the work, and that's okay. But you could have your kids help with this. I'm going to add this to my pan. Another little tip that I want you to keep in mind. You can always put the lid on and then add a little water to help generate a bit of steam to speed up the cooking process. Nothing wrong with doing that, and I'm actually going to do that right now for you. Just put a splash of water in there. Questions, comments, thoughts? We've got our creamy chickpeas with broccoli and goat cheese. Great recipe. I had somebody ask about substitutions because they weren't a big garbanzo bean fan. Go ahead and add some chicken to that. Or maybe you like beans, but you just don't want garbanzo beans. Switch it out. I want to get all the barriers out of the way so that you will enjoy having some great tasting and nourishing foods for yourself. I also want to get the barriers out of the way when it comes to helping you save time, because sometimes people don't want to cook or they don't want to put the time in because they don't have the time. Well, I get that. The good news is you can make these kinds of dishes in advance and then just do a quick heat up and you're all set. So why not do it that way? And this is one of those dishes. If you minus the goat cheese until you're maybe going to heat it up, then that would be an excellent thing to do. Broccoli stalks. How many of you cook with broccoli stalks? Let me know in the comments. Oftentimes I see people have these and they don't know what to do, so they just chuck it, throw it. I'll give it to my chickens. However, you can cook with these. Now you'll notice that there's this, I'm getting a little nerdy on some broccoli stalks here, okay? Probably the last time I'll do this, but I want to tell you anyways. There's this thick fibrous husk or skin, if you will. We're going to peel that off and we're going to use our knife and we're going to slice that off so we can have this be a little more palatable. This might be an adult task right here, cutting these, but these other pieces now you could have anybody help you with. And we're chopping that up.
Hello, right. Cindy. Cindy says, hi, love your recipes. Cindy from Minneapolis.
Thank you, Cindy. Appreciate you being here tonight. Okay, another little tip for you folks. As you see the broccoli, the broccoli still has that muted green color, but as the heat gets exposed, it starts to turn bright green. Well, now you know that you're getting to where you want to be. At least with this recipe, we want to have it be just turning bright green, and then we're going to add chickpeas and stuff. But before we add the chickpeas, we are going to add our garlic powder and our basil. I love cooking with herbs and spices. Who knows why? For those of you that have been following my show and doing my webinars and stuff, why do I like cooking with herbs and spices? Now, there might be some obvious answers, but there's some not so obvious answers. Anybody going once, going twice? All right, I'll tell you. I love it for obvious reasons. Number one, tastes great, looks great, and makes your food smell great. But number two, so I can already smell the nice aromas from the basil and the garlic. Number two, what I love about using herbs and spices is that there's a lot of medicinal benefits. So for those of you right now that are participating in real time, and maybe you're standing there and you're watching, you got your laptop or your tablet sitting there and you're watching and you're chopping and you find yourself a little sore on your shoulder, or maybe your lower back's a little sore, or maybe your neck is because the way you're positioned, herbs and spices like basil, rosemary, ginger, turmeric, they have anti-inflammatory benefits that can help relax your muscles, expand the blood vessels, let more blood flow to the muscles, and relaxing your muscles as a result. And if you don't care about that, it just makes your food taste awesome, as I said. So make sure that you're using those herbs and spices for the reasons we talked about. Another thing that I want you to think about is we're using dried herbs. Questions, comments, thoughts, let us know what's going on. What can we help you with? Dried herbs are 3 times more potent than fresh herbs. So we have, we're using a half of a teaspoon of basil. I'm going to interrupt myself. See how we got that nice color coming out? The green is starting to pop. This looks excellent. Well, we have, we're using half a teaspoon of, or I think I said half a teaspoon, that sounds about right, of dried basil. Well, if you were to use fresh basil, you would use 3 times the amount because fresh herbs are 3 times less potent than dried. I used garlic powder. If you want to use fresh garlic, if you want to use jarred garlic, if you want to use granulated garlic, you can certainly do that. The granulated garlic will be closer from a ratio perspective to the garlic powder, whereas the fresh garlic, again, because it's fresh, it's going to be 3 times less potent approximately. So you're going to want to be, use your measurements on that accordingly. I cut up the broccoli stalks and I removed the skin. I'm actually going to keep the skin because we have pet chickens and I love my pet chickens. You want to get extreme close up. There we go. See, I don't like to chew on that stuff, but I know my pet chickens, Meg, Rose, Ginger, and Harriet do. So I am going to put them, have a nice little treat for tomorrow. Beautiful. Oh, this is looking great. Questions, comments, thoughts? Folks, if you like this idea of taking care of yourself in the kitchen, and you want more control, thus more freedom in the kitchen, I want you to get our Smart Nutrition Cookbook. It's an awesome book. We have over 70 recipes in there. Breakfast, lunches, dinner, snacks. We teach you how to set yourself up for success in the kitchen. We teach you how to meal plan, and then you get the breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks. We got slow cooker, multi-cooker recipes, dips, dressings. It's a great resource. For Christmas, for the holidays, it'd be a great gift for college students, for anyone that's trying to do more great tasting and nourishing foods on their own. Please, you're going to want to get that. And we just put the link in the comments there, chefmarshallobrien.com/show or smartnutritioncookbook.com. Thanks to my awesome production team, we got the graphics up. See, they got me taken care of. All right, technique tip here, number 27, folks. If you want to learn how to do the pan toss, what you do is you do this quick jerking motion here, okay? Push and pull, a quick push and pull, and you will dump food on your counter initially when you practice, but it's pretty easy.
Like you just did?
Just like I did, yeah. But I just want to show people, that's just the way life is in the big kitchen, okay? But now it's all nice and big, it's all nice and mixed up, and look at how beautiful it is. It's fragrant. Now it's time to add our chickpeas. And I'm going to cut up some, we're going to add our chickpeas, we're going to add a lemon, and I'm going to add the, I'm going to add the lemon later, sorry. I'm going to add our tomatoes, which reminds me, I have a fresh tomato here. You could certainly add canned diced tomatoes and obviously make it a, about a cup equivalent or to your liking. Cooking is an art, whereas baking is a science. I think we talked about that in the last episode. As you get comfortable with your skills and confidence in the kitchen, you can segue and modify and alter your recipes to suit, to serve your cooking style and lifestyle. I'm a big proponent of that. Absolutely do that. All right.
I want to read something. Cindy says, I remember you telling us about the spices in an earlier show, and since then I have added a little ginger and turmeric to my morning cook and have been having less knee pain. Love it. Thank you.
Wow, Cindy, that's awesome. Really appreciate you sharing that. And that's, that's what it's all about. You're taking control of what you're doing in the kitchen and in your life, so now you can have the changes that you want in your kitchen and in your life. So congratulations, Cindy. I think that's awesome. And you know what? You are an inspiration for having the courage to try something new, because a lot of times people get stuck in their ways. They do the same recipes, the same food, the same habits, et cetera, et cetera. And now look at what you've discovered because you chose to try something new. That's super awesome. That's super awesome. Our tomatoes are nice and chopped up here. We're going to add those. Wow, this looks good. This is colorful. I mean, this is a super simple dish. And but it has a lot of flavor. And those flavors now, this is kind of cool. What's going to happen is we're going to add lemon juice and we're going to add goat cheese. Lemon juice is going to really bring out the garlic and infuse the garlic with the tomatoes and the basil. And then we'll talk about the goat cheese in a second. If you want to use, just use your hand as I'm doing here. Okay, got that going. Boom, that looks great. And I don't remember how much I said in there. Yeah, about a tablespoon. That's what I thought. We're good there. I'm not using salt in this recipe. When you are cooking from scratch and you're using the kind of recipes that I'm encouraging you to use, you will have zero issues with sodium sensitivities. I mean, if you have hypertension, you need to make sure that you are on the right track, with your healthcare provider's support, and then you can use the right foods to minimize the dependency on medications and whatnot, and absolutely be in control of that sodium, not a problem. The lemon brings out a ton of flavor. Okay, here's the next thing that I was mentioning, the goat cheese. So the goat cheese, this is Chev, I call it Chev goat cheese, and I'm not French, I don't speak French, so if someone wants to comment on the proper way to say it, but Chevre, Chev, that's how I say it, but it's soft and it's gonna get really creamy. If you do a goat cheese Gouda or some other hard cheese, we're not gonna get the effect that we want. I love goat cheese, my kids love goat cheese. I don't want to say it's an acquired taste because sometimes people associate acquired taste with, oh, that's different. Translation, I don't like it, it's not going to taste good. It's not an acquired taste, it's like a rich, full taste. And what's beautiful about using this cheese is it softens up and then it makes a nice, creamy little light pan sauce, and that's what we're going for. I mean, just like barely a glaze, just to, again, bring all the flavors together, and it's really, really tasty. For me personally, I like goat cheese and different types of goat cheese. It's easier on my stomach. There's different enzymes in goat's milk and goat cheese as a result that for some people that have lactose sensitivities, they can actually tolerate goat's milk and goat's cheese better than like cow's milk and cow's cheese. Now, that's me. You may not have that issue, but I like this. Whenever there's a recipe that calls for cream cheese, I use goat cheese instead. And then I have a happy belly, and I just want to feel good and all that stuff. So, comments, questions. What is going on in your kitchen right now, folks? This is getting nice and mixed up. I'm going to add a little more dash of water to it. The water's kind of optional because if you use frozen broccoli in this, it'll make sense because a lot of that water will come out in there. All right. I'm going to put the lid on here. I'm going to put the lid on. And I'm going to adjust the heat just a bit. And we're going to let this cook for a little longer. I mean, again, this is super simple. I want to give a shout out to all the awesome folks that have been participating, making our recipes and enjoying them with themselves or their families or whomever. So who do we got? We are awesome. We have Erin said it was a big hit with the kids. She's referring to the enchiladas, big crowd pleasers, and they're a tough crowd, she says. Awesome, love it. Amy Brab says, this is so delicious, referencing 2 episodes ago we did the cod and papillote, which was an awesome recipe, and I'm loving it that you made that. Well done, Amy. Cindy says, here is my enchiladas that we used wood-cooked sirloin steak. All right, you already beat me, Cindy. I'm jealous. I love it with some onions, regular onions, and added avocado and Greek yogurt on the side. Cindy gets the I'm the coolest cook award making that fancy enchilada dish. I am very impressed. Pam Jacobs, love how you're doing it real time with us. Thank you so much. I just finished dinner and it was easy to make it delicious. Add the cilantro. Great cooking class, Chef Marshall. Well, it's our pleasure. That's the whole reason we do this. Get our cookbook to help you when we're not doing the show, folks. It's a great thing. Go to chefmarshallobrien.com/show. And we do this show to help you have fun in the kitchen. You got one night a week where you can get together with those in your life and make a great, tasty, nourishing meal, improve your skills, have fun. It's going to be cool. I might do something silly and you get entertained a bit, but it's worth your half hour, 45 minutes. So glad to have you participating. All right, this is basically close to basically being done.
Sharon says, good information on goat cheese. I never tried it, but will now. Awesome.
Sharon, good. And I want to know, Sharon, what do you think when you do try it? again, folks, when you make tonight's recipe, if you make it tonight, please take a picture, send it to us. I'm really amazed at how many people are participating and sending us. I need to get more organized so I can collect all of your pictures and make sure that we recognize you. It's so cool. And if you're watching on demand on our YouTube channel, Chef Marshall's Cooking with Confidence, you can still do the same thing. Let us know what you think and send a picture. That's great. All right, this looks fantastic. One of the keys to making sure that your broccoli is tender, as I was saying, is making sure obviously it cooks long enough, and you can speed up that process by using the lid and the steam method. Totally cool. Want you to make sure that you just feel comfortable with that. And if you're saying, hey, I don't want to have a bunch of tree stalk broccoli in my refrigerator, go the frozen route. It's totally cool. I want to get all the barriers out of the way for you so that you can make these dishes and make it easy and make it fun, and eventually as time goes on you're accumulating a bunch of great recipes that you enjoy, that you can have those ingredients or a lot of them on hand, and you can start putting these together as meal plans and making it a lot easier and taking out some stress out of your life and nourish you, which is our fourth point, as you know, at the same time. Cool. One of the things that I have not been doing in our shows, and I want to make sure that I'm doing that, is you need to taste as you go, folks. You want to make sure that you know what it tastes like. So when the broccoli is raw, which a lot of people taste raw broccoli, that's not a really good illustration, but you might be thinking the goat cheese. For a lot of you tonight, goat cheese was the first. So taste it at first, and then you taste it in the dish. And so knowing what it's like, and that's a really big bite. You got to do TV bites with this stuff. So I'm going to have to find a smaller piece. Oh, that's about the same size too. Okay, here we go. And it's really hot. Good thing I did not burn my mouth. Close, but not a lot. All right, taste it. Now you can taste the sweetness. We talked creamy chickpeas, and someone was asking before the show, what makes it creamy? Well, the goat cheese. Chickpeas are one of those beans that are great for making purees. They're great mashing them up. If you have small kids or you have babies, chickpeas are a great one. The texture is very, very, very flexible, very forgiving, and it's just one of those dishes where you can use them in just about anything, and they don't have that bean flavor is what I'm trying to say, so if you're not a big bean fan. So anyways, we're good to go, folks. Questions, comments,
Amy
thoughts?
Says, I have never had goat cheese until this recipe. I will have to try it in a beef stroganoff.
Beef stroganoff. You're not German, obviously.
That's what it says.
Yes, try it.
Stroganoff.
All right, folks. We are done. It was that simple. It was that simple. We are going to let it cool, and that's one of the things is, as excited as I get, and I want you to taste as you go, and that was something that I've just brought in recently. You obviously don't want to burn your mouth and your taste buds and all that, so just make sure that you are, having fun, being safe, have the tools, get the recipes, folks. Make sure you sign up, chefmarshallobrien.com/show, so you can get those in advance and cook with us in real time or in advance or on demand. Thank you so much for being with me tonight and letting me cook with you in your kitchen. I super appreciate it. Make sure, folks, I want you to have fun tonight eating for you and for your family, and make sure that you follow us. You're watching on Facebook right now. Follow us Instagram. Follow us on Chef Marshall's Cooking with Confidence YouTube channel, okay? Get those, connect with those, and share them with your friends. Super important. I really want you to do that so we can keep growing the show. Next week, we are making, I totally forgot. Oh my gosh, I had it in my head. Oh, I remember. We're off next week. That's why I forgot. We're actually taking 2 weeks off, so Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to you all. Happy New Year. We'll be back on January 7th, 5:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, and we'll be making super delicious chicken sweet potato tarragon stew. This is bursting with flavor. It's beautiful. It's going to be an awesome hearty wintertime stew. Again, one of those great make-ahead recipes, folks. Trying to make your life easier. Okay, so tune in. We got 2 weeks off, but you can get the other episodes for those of you that don't have them on our YouTube channel. Please go subscribe. Did I tell you to do that yet? I want you to do that. I know I did. Alex is nodding his head. It was a joke. But anyways, while you are enjoying your dinner tonight with yourself, with your family, with those in your home, I'm going to serve up my Chef Marshall Show family, and we're going to enjoy what we made. They will not burn their mouths. I kind of did, I'll admit, but that's okay. Until next time, in 2 weeks, happy holidays, and we will see you in the kitchen. I look forward to it. Take care, everybody.
Bye.